Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरा वनचार्य यमुनातीरा वनचार्य राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय जय राधा माधव श्री राधे जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय 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 प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुपादाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सरस्वती श्रीमद चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सरस्वती श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय गंगा मई यमुना मई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय श्री श्री गौनिताय की जय श्री श्री राधा वल्लभ की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमयी की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga 28 right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Dhayan Srimudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikim. We continue our reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1. Chapter entitles The Activities of Maharaj Priyavrata. Text number 28. Anyas, this is also in prose form. Anyasyam api jayayam Traya putram asan uttamas Tamaso raivata iti manvantaradhipatayaha Anyasyam api jayayam Traya putra asan uttamas Tamaso raivata iti manvantaradhipataya. You want to try? Ananyasyam api jayayam Taya putram asana Uttama tamaso raivata Iti manvantaradhipataya. Anyasyam api jayayam Traya putra masanuttamas Tamaso raivata iti manvantaradhipataya. Anyasyam, others, api, also, jayayam, in the wife, traya, three, putra, sons, asan, there were, uttama tamasa raivata, uttama tamasa and raivata, iti, thus, manu antara, of the manvantara, millennium, adhipataya, rulers, excuse me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. In his other wife, Maharaj Priyavrata begot three sons named Uttama, Tamasa and Raivata. All of them later took charge of Manvantara millenniums. Translation responsibly. In his other wife, Maharaj Priyavrata begot three sons named Uttama, Tamasa and Raivata. All of them later took charge of Manvantara, millennium. Very short purport. In every day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. The duration of one Manvantara, the lifespan of Manu is 71 yugas. And each yuga is 4,320,000 years. almost all the Manus selected to rule the Manvantara came from family of Maharaj Priyavrata. 3 of them are particularly mentioned herein, namely Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata. It's very short purport, so probably do a next verse as well. Again, these are in prose, very long verses, some of them. Yeah, okay, yeah. I have a confusion reading between Sanskrit and the English. The English has got it. So text number 29. Evam upasamayaneshu swatana yeswatha jagatir patir jagatir ambuda nekadasa parivatsaranam abhyahata akhila purusha kara shara sambhrityo tador danda yugala pidita mor gi gunam gunastani tani taritra mitam dharma pratiprokspaksho bahirmatsya tya shraddhanu dinam edha mana pramoda prasarana oshirnya bredya pramushita hasala loka ruchi ravrel velyadivihi parabhuya mana viveka ivana va buddhya mana iva maha mana bubhuje. Wow, that's a mouthful. If you were to read, the Gopalbhatta Goswami used to recite each sloka in 6 or 7 tunes. Not only recite, he used to be able to sing and go into. I wonder how he would be singing these prose verses in singing tunes. Anyway. Translation. After Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana were completely trained in the Paramahamsa stage of life, Maharaj Priyavrata ruled the universe for 11 Arbhuda of years. Whenever he was determined to fix his bow upon his bowstring, with his 2 powerful arms, all opponents of the regulative principle of religion life would flee from his presence in fear of the unparalleled powers he displayed in ruling the universe. He greatly loved his wife Bharismati, and with the increase of days, their exchange of nuptial love also increased. By her feminine behavior, as she dressed herself, walked, got up, smiled, laughed, the glance about, Queen Bharismati increased his energy. Thus, although he was a great soul, he appeared lost in the feminine conduct of his life. He behaved with them just like an ordinary man, but actually he was a great soul. Close to. Purport. In this verse, the word dharma pratipaksha, or the opponent of religious principle, refers to a particular faith, but to varnashram dharma, the division of society, socially and spiritually, into 4 varna ashram 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, and 4 ashrams, the Brahmachari, Grihastha, Banaprastha and Sannyas. To maintain proper social order and help the citizens gradually progress towards the goal of life, namely spiritual understanding, the principle of Varnashram Dharma must be accepted. From this verse, Maharaj Priyavrata appears to have been so strict in maintaining this institution of Varnashram Dharma that anyone neglecting it would immediately flee from the presence as soon as the king warned him by fighting or administering light punishment. Indeed, Maharaj Priyavrata would not have to fight, for simply because of his strong determination. They dared not to disobey the rules and the regulations of Varnashram Dharma. It is said that unless human society is regulated in Varnashram Dharma, it is no better than a bestial society of cats and dogs. Maharaj Priyavrata therefore strictly maintained the Varnashram Dharma by his extraordinary unparalleled powers. To maintain such a life of strict vigilance, one needs the encouragement of his wife. In the Varnashram Dharma system, certain class, such as the Brahmanas and Sannyasi, do not need encouragement from the opposite sex. Kshatriyas and Grihasthas, however, actually in need to encouragement of their wives in order to execute their duties. Indeed, a Grihastha or Kshatriya cannot properly execute his responsibilities without the association of his wife. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally admitted that the Grihastha must live with a wife. Kshatriyas were even allowed to have many wives to encourage them to discharge the duties of government. The association of the good wife is necessary in life of karma and political affairs. To execute his duty properly, therefore Maharaj Priyavrata took the advantage of the good wife Bharismati, who was always very expert in pleasing her great husband by properly dressing herself, smiling, and exhibiting her feminine bodily features. Queen Bharismati always kept Maharaj Priyavrata very encouraged, and thus executed his governmental duties very properly. In this verse, Eva also has twice been used to indicate that Maharaj Priyavrata acted exactly like a henpecked husband, and thereby seemed to have lost his sense of human responsibility. Actually, however, he was fully conscious of his position as a spirit soul. Although he seemingly behaved like a quiescent karmi husband, Maharaj Priyavrata thus ruled the universe for 11 arbudas of years. One arbuda consists of 1 million years. Is that 1 million? There's 9 figures. So what's that? Million, right? And Maharaj Priyavrata ruled the universe for 11 such arbudas. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitan Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhamitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayati girim yat kripa tamaham vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. Namo Vishnu Jai. So, we're hearing this activities of Maharaj Priyavrata. Maharaj Priyavrata, initially he was doing tapasya, yeah? And he didn't have a desire to rule or be a king or such. He wanted to spend the life as a tapasvi or yogi. Then need had arisen. He was under the guidance of Narad Muni, practicing his spiritual life. As the need has come, he has been requested to take over the rulership of the universe. Lord Brahma has come, and his Swambhu Manu, his father, and convinced him to take the rulership of the universe. Yes, then he became a grihastha. Who's his wife? Bharismati. He married the Bharismati. She was the daughter of Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma, I'm not sure if it's the same Vishwakarma as known as the architect of the demigods. It says Prajapati, so must be some Prajapati. It says Prajapati Vishwakarma. So anyway, so he was married to Bharismati. And how many children did he have? He had 10 sons, one daughter from Bharismati. The eldest son was Agnidra. And one daughter who was married to Sukracharya, Ojaswati. Sukracharya is the spiritual master of demons. Sukracharya. Brihaspati is the spiritual master of demigods, and Sukracharya is the. So she was married. Daughter was married to Sukracharya. Then, out of three, we just heard yesterday that three of them didn't want to get married. So Kavi, who was it? Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana, three of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata decided to take sannyas, and they become Paramahamsas. They have gone through the different practices of spiritual life, and then they decided not to get into a grihastha life. And the rest of the seven sons of Maharaj Priyavrata, they become the kings of 7 islands of the Bhumandala. And sorry? So Maharaj Priyavrata also had a second wife, which is mentioned here. From second wife, we had 3 sons. So altogether he had 13 kids, 13 children. 7 became the 7 rulers of the 7 islands of the Bhumandala, and the 3 took sannyas. Daughter got married to Sukadeva, and 3 of the second wife's sons, Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata, they become a Manus. Now, it is the Manus, Manus are also part of the universal administrators. Just like we have Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Vayu, all those demigods. Manus also consist of the rulers of the administrators of the universal affairs. As Prabhupada mentions that in the purport of the verse text 28, he says there are 14 Manus in the days of Brahma. So one day of Brahma is known as Kalpa. So within one Kalpa, there are 14 Manus ruling period. The 14 Manu. So the period of each Manu's ruling is 71 Dibya Yugas. Now Dibya Yuga consists of combination of 4 yugas. Is called one Dibya Yuga. Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, and Satya Yuga. These are the 4 yugas. When the combination period is called Dibya Yugas. And Manu ruled for 71 of these cycle period, and that's one Manvantara. So even I don't know if I mean we when we go to perform some pujas, for example, especially in India, we call Brahmana, and they chant this Sankalpa mantra, right? What's Sankalpa mantra generally is they will tell you the whole where are you, which Manvantara you are in, which so generally. The Sankalpa mantra begins with Adhya Brahmana, means now. Brahmana is referring to Lord Brahma. Adhya Brahmana, Dvitiya Prarabdhe. Now, how old is Brahma? As of now, he is 51 years old. Dvitiya Prarabdhe, right? So first Parabdha was first 50 years of Lord Brahma. So now he is in the second Prarabdha. And we are, each day of Brahma is known by the different names. So we are in currently is Sweta Paraha Kalpa, which is the name of this Kalpa, this day. And which we are in Vaivaswata Manvantara. So our current Manu is Vaivaswata Manu. And so we are in the 51st year of the Brahma, very first day of Brahma, of the 51st year. And the first Manu is Swayambhu Manu of this day. If you see entire Bhagavatam, more or less, is the time frame you're looking at getting all this is on this Kalpa, or this particular Manvantara or Kalpa of Brahma. So we are in the Asta Bimsate Yuge, Kali Yuge. means the 28th cycle of the Dibya Yuga. So like almost halfway through. So and the first charana, or the first phase or first period, the first four, the Kali Yuga is divided into four. We're in the first charana. Bhuloke Jambudvipe Bharata Barse. Now Jambudvip is one of the 7 islands that Maharaj Priyabrata creates with his chariot. We'll see in next few verses that description is coming in. So the whole Bhumandala is divided into 7 islands. So one of the central islands is called Jambudvip. And the Jambudvip is also divided further into 9 verses. These 9 verses will be ruled by the son of Agnidra. Each of the islands will be known by the names of the Agnidra, sons of Agnidra. So, so Jambudvip is where the 9. So we are situated in a Jambudvip. Within Jambudvip, we are on the Bharat Varsha, very south of the Jambudvip. Within the Bharat Varsha is also further divided into 9 khandas. And we are situated in the 9th, very last khanda. So our globe is in the Jambudvip, within that Bharat Varsha, and then within Bharat Varsha we are in the Bharat Khanda. This is how the Bhagavatam cosmology actually describes as the. So, excuse me. So we have 14 Manus that ruling. That's how the Manvantaras is divided. So very first Manu was Swayambhu Manu, and each of Manvantara period there is also a Manvantara avatar. The Lord comes in the particular that Manvantara period, and he is known as Manvantara avatar. We have a Purusha avatars, we have Leela avatar, we have Manvantara avatar, we have a Yuga avatar. Different, the personality, Lord comes to establish the religious principle in different terms. So when he comes in particular Manvantara, he is known as Manvantara avatara. So who was our first Manu? Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu, in fact, took the 2 roles, both roles, as the emperor as well as the Manu, because he was the very first one to start with. Then, and the period of the administrators of the demigods, like Indra, Varuna, Vayu, and everything, this also consists. They also live as long as Manu. So when the Manu changes, Indra also changes. The Indras, Saptarishis, Vyasadeva also, in fact. The Vyasa is a position. And Yamaraj and everything, they all change. This is the period of the demigods rule, is ruling that for that period. So Swayambhu Manu was the first one. Surochicha. Now, 3, 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. They become the Manu. So which one the third one? Mention this one. Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata. So they are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Manus that it is coming into. So Swayambhu Manu, Surochicha Manu, then Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata. 6th is Chakshusha Manu. Now Chakshusha Manu comes in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. We studied in the past. So he's a son of Sarvateja, I think it's. Sorry? No. He comes before the Anga and before the Maharaj Prithu and all that. Yeah. So, yeah. And then our current Manu is Vaivashvata Manu, who is the son of sun god. And then there is the future Manu is also given on the 8th canto. Sukadeva Goswami describes all the rest of the Manus, which is Savarni, which is the next Manu it's going to be after Vaivashvata. Daksha Savarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudra Savarni, Deva Savarni and Indra Savarni. These are the future Manus. They're going to be ruling this particular kalpa. So, as I mentioned, there is also avatara that comes every Manvantara. So, our Manvantara avatara is Vamanadev. Lord Vamanadev just appeared. So that he comes in the Vaivashvata Manvantara as he's also Lila avatara as well as his Manvantara avatara. Sometimes there is combination. And then our current Indra is Purandara by the name. Just like every Manvantara, the Yagya, the Indra changes also. Next Manvantara, Indra is Bali Maharaj. He's waiting in the Sutala. He becomes the Indra next Manvantara period. It's all it's in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the 8th canto mentioned. See, I had a question like, where does these Manu live? And where are they? Where are they managing? Even though they are current. And I was just also reading the cosmology, Bhagavata cosmology by Eco Village Research. They had produced one very nice describing the 5th canto in a simpler form. And it is mentioned that in the Ramyaka Varsha, each Varsha of the 9 islands of the Jambudvip has got a prominent resident. And they worship particular form of the Lord also. For example, in Jambudvip, the Ilabrata Varsha of one of the islands of the Jambudvip, which Ilabrata Varsha, Lord Shiva is there. His residence is also there. And he worships Shankarshan. For example, our Bharatvarsha, the prominent resident of our Bharatvarsha is Narad Muni. And he's worshipping, the worshipable deities are Narayan. Similarly, in the Ramyaka Varsha, which is one of the island on the north, is the Vaivashvata Manu is the prominent resident there now. And he's worshipping Matsya. Lord Matsya is his prominent worshipable deities. If we will see there's the residents, we will see the prayers of the different residents. For example, Hare Varsha, where Prahlad Maharaj is still living there and worshipping Nrsingadev. Kimpurusha Varsha, Hanuman is there worshipping Lord Ramachandra. Ketumala Varsha, Lakshmi Devi is there worshipping her Narayan in the form of Pradumna. So, and the Kuru Varsha, Mother Earth, the personification of Mother Earth, Bhumi, resides there, and she's worshipping Lord Bharhadev. In that, we will see. I mean, because the description will come in the cosmology, because this 5th canto, there's whole intricate, cosmology described. This is how it's, so yeah, Ramyaka Varsha, our Vaivashvata Manu is living there worshipping Bharhadev. Now, that was just a brief description of the Manus, what is explained in the text 28. So we have 14 Manus in the day of Brahma. Brahma's, the one period managing is called Manvantara, and we have the day of Brahma is called Kalpa. Now, in the text 29, Srila Prabhupada goes on to describing, or the duties of the king is to maintain varnashram dharma. The prominent duty of the king, what is it? To maintain the varnashram dharma. The varnashram dharma is created and given by the Lord for the function of the universe. Excuse me. So, what is varnashram dharma? Varnashram dharma. Varnashram is varna, which is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. These are varnas. What's the ashram? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. They are combination. One is social, other one is spiritual. So, in the social order, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, 4. Now, in last class we discussed about the 4 ashrams, the duties and qualities and the specifications of the ashrams. So in this one here, just briefly touch the varnas, 4 varnas. So we have Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Now, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that this varnashram system is given by Lord Krishna to function this universe in the particular rule, it's a law, God's law you can call it, varnashram system. And the responsibility of the king is to follow that. And ultimately the varnashram system is designed in such a way that the living entity is gradually progressed into a spiritual life, and then his goal is to return back home, back to Godhead. So the king's responsibility is to maintain that and then encourage the citizens to follow and make progress in the spiritual life. So, Brahmanas. What are some of the qualities of Brahmanas? Truthfulness, yes. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, in the text 42, gives a qualities of Brahmana. Samo, Dhamma, Tapa, Shaucha, Shantir, Arjavam, Evacha. Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajan. Sama, peacefulness. I think other day also we were discussing the qualities of in general, human quality. Again, for Brahmanas, peacefulness is one of the prominent the qualities Brahman have. It's peacefulness. Sama. Dhamma, self-controlled. Tapa, austerity. Shaucham, purity, cleanliness. Shanti, tolerance. Shanti. Arjavam, honesty. Jnanam, knowledge. Vijnanam, wisdom. Astikyam, and religiousness. Or he follows the dharma. Lord Krishna gives. Brahma karma swabhavajan. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmana works. So what are they? Sama, Dhamma, Tapa, Shaucha, Shanti, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the qualities of Brahmana. What are the qualities of Kshatriyas? Krishna also again describes on the 43 verse of the 18th chapter. Shauryam tejo dhritir daksham yuddhe chapya palayanam dhanami iswaram bhavascha chatra karma swabhavajan. Shauryam, heroism, teja, power, dhriti, determination, daksham, resourcefulness. In the resourcefulness in battle. Dhanam, generosity. Iswaram, leadership. So, Shauryam, Teja. Shaurya means heroism. Teja, power. Dhriti, determination. Daksham, resourcefulness. And in the courage in battle, generosity and leadership. These are the qualities of Kshatriyas. And as per Bhagavad Gita, Krishna doesn't give a specific qualities of the Vaishyas in Bhagavad Gita. So I thought I found some qualities given in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, in the 7th canto. So the qualities of Vaishya is in the 7th canto, chapter 11, text number 23, and this is also in the 11th canto. The Vaishyas are being always devoted to who? Spiritual master, the spiritual master, they are devoted. It doesn't mean that the others don't have these qualities. All of them have all these qualities. Some of the qualities are more prominent in specific varna. Others, they all have the same, all these qualities. Even Sudras have all these qualities. Peacefulness, control, austerity, all that. So, specifically in the Vaishyas mentioned here is the devoted to a spiritual master, believing in the words of a spiritual master and in scriptures, and devoted to a supreme Lord, or Krishna or Vishnu, and respecting and honoring demigods, endeavoring for the advancement of the religious principle, faith in Vedic civilization, dedication to a charity, freedom from the hypocrisy, and service to a Brahmana. These are the qualities of Vaishya mentioned in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Now the qualities of Shudra, also mentioned. The service without duplicity to Brahmanas, cows, demigods, and worshipable Lord, of course the Lord Vishnu or Narayana or Krishna, and complete satisfaction with whatever income one attains. That's the qualities of Sudras. Now, each of the varnas also have some occupation they do. Now, our current situation, hardly there is a proper varna system. But whereas in practical, there is some occupation that are designed specifically for a Brahmana, occupation for Kshatriyas, occupation for Vaishyas and Shudras. Now, in the 7th canto, chapter 11, text 14, Narad Muni gives a occupation of the Brahmanas. Worshipping the deities, teaching others by how to worship the deities. So worshipping deities and patana, yajana again. Worshipping the deities, teaching others how to worship the deities, studying the Vedic literatures, teaching the Vedic literatures, accepting charity and giving charity. These are the qualities of occupation of the Brahmana mentioned. Now, in the 11th canto, there are certain period, if there is emergency, for example, they in an emergency period. 11th canto, chapter 17, text 47 says, if Brahmana cannot support himself through his regulative duties and thus suffering, he may adopt the occupation of merchant. They overcome his duty and his destitute condition by buying and selling material things. If he continues to suffer from extreme poverty, even as a merchant, then he may adopt the occupation of Kshatriya. Someone like we see Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and they have adopted. Probably it wasn't in the emergency situation, but it's not that the Brahmanas are not accepting the others' occupation. They become, they take swords and fight. And generally, it's for Brahmana, it says they don't work as in accepting a wages. For Kshatriyas are the same. Says same as Brahmana. It's mentioned in the 7th canto. All the occupation of the Kshatriyas are same as Brahmana, which were the worshiping deities, teaching and learning and all that thing, except for accepting charity. So all the occupation Kshatriyas can do, all the occupation, except for accepting charity is not recommended for the Kshatriyas. And not allowed to levy taxes on Brahmana, Vaishnavas. So if they become king or ruler Kshatriyas, it generally is Brahmanas, and they're actually maintained by the kings and in a proper Varnashram system, that the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas they actually maintain. So there is no tax levied on these Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. He may take his livelihood by levying minimum taxes, customs, duties, and penalties upon the other subjects. What happens in the emergency cases, if the king, for example, loses a kingdom or something, it says king or the other members of the royal family who cannot maintain himself by the normal occupation may act as Vaishya. Again, so in emergency situation, yes, they can accept the occupation of Vaishyas or the sell and buy. And for the Kshatriyas, it also says they may live by hunting or act as a Brahmana by teaching others. They can also accept the occupation of Brahmanas and learn and teach. Kshatriyas also they can do that. The occupation for the Vaishyas, Lord Krishna mentions agriculture, trade, protection of cow in Bhagavad Gita. So farming, cow protection, and business is the occupation of Kshatriyas. In the emergency situation, the Vaishya or mercantile man who cannot maintain himself may adopt the occupation of Shudra. And the Shudra who cannot find the So in Shudra, for generally, Shudras are laborers, and their occupation is primarily to serve other Varnas. So this is the occupation generally mentioned for the Varnashram system. Now the whole system is actually not followed, and the predominantly our situation is almost on the level of in a Shudra. Mostly most of us are working, and so this Varnashram system is created by Krishna to follow, and the Prabhupada actually wanted to establish a proper Varnashram system in the current situation, and there is a lot of these some projects that Krishna the disciples of Prabhupada have taken to establish the Varnashram Dharma. So just briefly, this is the Varnashram Dharma. Prabhupada mentioned the duty of the kings again is to maintain this proper system in place, and so we can progress into a spiritual life. And the second topic, or the other topic, Prabhupada also discusses about the duties of a duty or the wife or woman. Now, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the association of a good wife is necessary for a life of karma and political affairs. Good, what is it called? Good wife, good life. Is that what is it? Yeah. And every successful man, behind every successful man there is a, yeah. So to execute, Prabhupada says in the purport, to execute his duties, this is talking about Maharaj Priyavrata, duties properly. Therefore Maharaj Priyavrata took advantage of his good wife, Bharismati, who was always very expert in pleasing her husband by properly dressing herself, smiling, exhibiting her feminine bodily features. Queen Bharismati always kept Maharaj Priyavrata very encouraged, and thus he executed his governmental duty properly. So the help in the Grihastha ashram, there is the proper working together as a husband and wife is necessary. Now, I found this very nice quote. This is from the Mahabharata Adi Parva. It says, no man even in anger should do anything that is disagreeable to his wife. For happiness, joy, virtue, and everything depends on his wife. Wife is a sacred soil in which the husband is born again. Even the rishis cannot create men without woman. So it's a very special place in the ladies. Of course, in context of the spiritual being, man or woman, one lifetime we are a man, next lifetime we could be in a different gender, vice versa. So these are the temporary. But however, there are proper duties for each gender to follow. So this Narad Muni gives in the 7th canto gives very nice some of the qualities of a ladies to have in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is in the 7th canto, chapter 11, text 28. Santushto alupto daksha dharmagya priya satyavak apramata suchi snigdha patim tu apatim bhajet. Santushta, satisfied in all circumstances. Alupta, a chaste woman should not be greedy. So satisfaction with whatever they have. Another quality is don't be greedy, aluptam. And she's daksha, expert in performing household affairs and duties, the dharmic duties. Dharmagya, she should be fully conversant with the religious principle. Priyabhak, pleasing words and truthful words. Priya and Satya, Vak, to speak truth. Should be very careful. Apramata, careful, very caring. Always suchi, clean. Snigdha, affectionate. And so these some of the qualities Narad Muni gives. Santushta, being satisfied in all circumstances, not to be greedy, expert in household affairs, dharmagya, also the knower of the religious principles, pleasing and truthful words speaking, apramatta, always careful, clean, affectionate. These are some of the great qualities. These qualities, having these qualities, as you can see in the life of Maharaj Priyavrata, that he had his wife had these great qualities. He was able to perform his duty properly. And I was just reading in our, there's a little booklet published by the Grihastha manual by ISKCON, Grihastha ministry, I think it is. They give very, just more practical what we do for our proper situation. What are some of the things we can do as a Grihastha? And it is mentioned rising early in the morning, which the Grihasthas rise early in the morning, take bath, greet and worship the deities. Greet deities, worship the deities. Chant prescribed number of rounds. Chant and do a kirtan, take part in kirtan. Worship Tulsi Devi. Hearing and reading daily scripture like Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and Śrīmad Bhāgavad Gita. Offering bhoga to the Supreme Lord. Offer bhoga and distribute prasadam to the Vaishnavas, invite them, and Brahmanas. Give charity in the mode of goodness. Perform sacrifice of best Sankirtan Yagya. These are some of the things recommended by the Grihastha ministry for us to practically follow as a Grihasthas. So, Prabhupada has established, institution like ISKCON, where all these things are followed. We can take part, make progress in a spiritual, and I'm very fortunate to be part of ISKCON. So where everything is designed for you. If you're just a single household, it's difficult, and to follow what Prabhupada has created an institute that we can take part and take advantage of and make spiritual progress. The purpose of having a temple is to teach these to every general public, that everyone makes progress. So, very interesting section of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Now we will hear all the cosmology of and this all related to Maharaj Priyavrata's family. Maharaj Priyavrata has taken over his ruler of the Bhumandala, where he gives his sons and everybody rules, and then from there we hear the description of the Bhumandala. Okay, so I will end here. Any comments, questions, corrections? Yes, slightly topic is now it's changing. These are the rulers of the Manvantara. It's our scripture are so complete. I don't think so any other, besides the Vedic, outside of the Vedic realm, we do have this detailed information of how the creation is created, how it is run, managed, how it is maintained, who are the specific demigods or God in charge of specific rules and regulations. So much information is given to us. Sorry? Correct. It's structure of the universe.
when the universe started, when it will finish, how big is it, how long it is, how old it is. Huh? So precise, so lucky, so fortunate to have this. Where else we get? Yeah? So, and all this is made available by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. Even common men like us, we can understand, we could try to understand, and then take advantage. Such a wonderful. Yeah. Manvantaras, kalpas, different avatars, different demigods. Everything has its place. Yeah? We breathe, there's wind, there's somebody's in charge, controlled, gives you, make sure this is, that there's enough supply is going. Sun is rising every day. Huh? Moon is shining, giving, the juices to all the vegetations. Amazing. Yep. So our scriptures gives a very thorough, very details, specific. Everything is mentioned. Everything is there. So.
The timing of the lifetimes.
Yes, timing of the lifetime. Where are we in terms of creation? Which part? Where exactly we fit in? Which era are we running in? So, the Lord Brahma's first day, 51th year, first day of Lord Brahma. Yeah. Lord Brahma, yes, sir.
So Brahma is 51 years, so his life is 100 years. So now he's more of a middle age. But most of the pictures they show Brahma with beard as if he is 70.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, that the conception is that he is the oldest person. In general, if you look at it, he is the first person in the creation. And then when he's old, we have so many, I think we already grow in when we are young, so they kind of, but generally this aging or I don't know, having a white beard and everything, I don't know where that specifically comes, but if you see most of the Prabhupada's in ISKCON painting, Lord Brahma has never given that beard. It's mostly he's young. He's got another 50 years to go. And these demigods, they don't age up. Just like Priyavata Maharaj mentioned here, his ruling period is 11 arbudas. One arbuda is 100 million years. So that's 11 arbudas period. That's only the ruling period. So some of the demigods or rulers are given a special lifespan, extra lifespan, I would say, okay, in Satyuga we live for 100,000 years. How come you, Maharaj Priyavata, rule for 100 million years? 11 million, 1.1 million years. But these are the rulers. They're not ordinary persons. They are assigned by the Lord to rule. They're given that lifetime to rule. Yeah. Very intricate science. Okay, we'll end here. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Thy God Premanande.